In our digital world, data really is the new gold. And just like any treasure vault, there are always thieves looking for a way to crack the code. Today, we're going to break down one of the most classic yet still powerful digital heists out there, SQL injection. And what's wild is just how simple it can be to pull off.
I mean, it sounds kind of hard to believe, right? What if I told you that a clever thief doesn't need some massive, complicated plan? That sometimes all it really takes are two little characters, just two, to completely bypass security, swing the vault door wide open, and just walk away with everything? Well, that is the power and the danger of SQL injection. Let's dig in and see how it works.
So, first things first, what are we even talking about here? What's the vault that these attackers are really after? Okay, so SQL injection, or you'll hear it called SQI, is a type of web security flaw. Think of it like this. A website needs to ask its database for information, right? Like, hey, show me all the blue shirts. SQI is when an attacker manages to sneak in and change that question into something totally different, something the website was never, ever supposed to ask. And the consequences of changing that question? Whoa, they can be absolutely devastating. A successful attack can lay everything bare. We're talking passwords, credit card numbers, all your personal info. In the worst-case scenarios, attackers can even install a permanent backdoor into a company's systems. This isn't just some minor bug. It's a full-blown crisis.
All right, let's get into the nitty-gritty. How does an attacker actually do this? Let's walk through the anatomy of an attack, step by step.
So it all starts with something you do a million times a day without even thinking about it. You're on a shopping site, you click on the gifts category, and your browser goes to a URL that looks just like this. Seems perfectly normal, totally safe.
Now, behind the scenes, that URL is being turned into a command for the database. It's basically saying, select everything from the products table where the category is gifts and this is super important, where they are released for sale. That little check makes sure you only see things that are actually available to buy.
And now, here comes the infiltration. The attacker takes that exact same URL, but they add just two little characters to the end of the word gifts, a single quote, and two hyphens. That's it. That's the entire lockpick.
So what do those two characters do? Well, here's where it gets really clever. In the SQL language, those two hyphens mean ignore everything after this point. It turns the rest of the command into a comment. So the database reads the command as select all products where the category is gifts, and it completely ignores that critical and release check. Poof, it's gone. And just like that, every single product, even the secret unreleased ones, gets displayed.
Okay, seeing unreleased products is one thing, but a real attacker? They want the keys to the kingdom. So let's escalate this and see how they go for the real score, your account.
This is a brilliant example of how the same trick works on a login page. A normal login asks the database, does a user exist with this username and this password? But an attacker types in administrator -- as the username. The database query then ignores the entire password check. So the attacker can type literally anything in the password field or nothing at all, and the system logs them right in as the administrator. They just got the keys.
And believe me, it gets even more advanced. With something called a union attack, an attacker can actually piggyback a whole second secret query onto the first one. It's like asking the database for the list of products and at the same time telling it to merge or union that result with the entire user table, giving them a list of all the usernames and passwords in one go.
Okay, so this seems incredibly powerful, almost unstoppable. So how do you defend against it? How do you build a vault door that can't be picked like this? Well, fortunately, the solution is just as powerful.
All right, the absolute key takeaway is right here. The vulnerability happens when a program mixes its command code with data it gets from a user. The fix is to use what we call prepared statements. This creates a super strict separation. The application sends the command template to the database first, with a placeholder for the data. Then it sends the user's input completely separately. This way, the database never gets confused. It treats that user input as just plain text, just data to be looked up, and never as a command. That little two-hyphen lockpick, it just becomes harmless punctuation.
This quote really sums it all up perfectly. To be secure, the core command you send to the database has to be a fixed, unchangeable, hard-coded constant. User data should never, ever be mixed directly into it. It's basically the digital version of keeping your valuables and the key to the vault in two totally separate places.
Every time you log into a site, make a purchase, or fill out a form, you're handing your data over and trusting someone to keep it safe.
SQL injection has been around for over 2 decades, and it's crazy, but it's still one of the most common and damaging attacks out there today. It really makes you wonder, doesn't it? The entire web is built on data. Who have you trusted with yours?